destroyed houses and roads, washing away cars and shops, taking it away with them. The NDRF and the SDRF teams are carrying out relief and rescue operations in these affected areas. Those are the streets that we are doing today. In Himachal Pradesh, let's cut to that. Heavy rains lashed out in Dharampur town in Mandi, sweeping away vehicles, causing widespread destruction. Debris choked key areas, also adding to the chaos. This is the same area which in the first time around also had seen massive flooding. And even before they could recover from that, there is a second round of flooding. Take a look at this detailed report for more.
ये रात को 10 बजे घटना हुई है। एक फादर पड़ा काली गार्ड में और एक पड़ा ऊपर बांग खाले में।
The hills in North India are facing a massive flood fury. States of Uttarakhand and Himachal are battling immense deluge. Multiple deaths have been reported in Himachal, while at least 2 people are reportedly missing in Dehradun. The hill states have seen extensive damage to key bridges and arterial roads. The rains leaving behind a trail of destruction, with multiple locations reported to be underwater. The Tapkeshwar Mahadev temple in Uttarakhand's Dehradun has suffered extensive damage after the Tamsa river, which got swollen by torrential rains and a cloudburst, inundated the temple premises. In Uttarakhand, late-night strong rains in the Sahasradhara area of Dehradun flooded hotels and shops, with the main market suffering structural damages.
You can see that behind David Hotel, there's another building which was also devastated after the flash flood struck the Sahasradhara area last night. And according to locals, there were 2 incidents of cloudburst which has caused flash flood, and the Sahasradhara river is also flowing in spate right now. Clearly visible over here, the building is quite sensitive and can fall any point in time if there's another struck of calamity or if there's another pressure. It may cause the building to fall and completely merge in the river, and this is going to be very devastating.
Torrential rains from a cloudburst in Sahasradhara in Dehradun triggered landslides. Heavy downpours destroyed houses, washed away cars, and inundated shops in the hilly region. Many have been stranded.
यहाँ पर आर पार जाना भी बहुत मुश्किल भरा काम है और काफी जोखिम भरकर लोग जो हैं जा रहे हैं। यहाँ पर एक पूरा क्षेत्र जो है मलबे में तब्दील हो गया है और यहाँ पर लोग मौजूद हैं, इंतजार कर रहे हैं कि किस तरह से ये पूरा रास्ता क्लियर हो, वो अपने घर जा सकें। ये देखिए पूरा जो पानी है वो उफान पर बह रहा है और इस रास्ते को पार करना लगभग असंभव है क्योंकि पूरी तरीके से ये नदी में तब्दील हो चुका है।
3 people of a family were killed in Himachal Pradesh's Mandi district. Flood waters inundated the Dharampur bus stand, sweeping away several Himachal Road Transport Corporation buses. Traffic has been disrupted on at least 500 roads across the state. The Met Department has announced a red alert for the next 24 hours and has ordered schools to remain closed. With Ankit Sharma in Dehradun, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's cut across live to Ankit Sharma, my colleague who brought you that report over there. Ankit, it's extremely hard to make sense of what exactly is happening in Uttarakhand and Himachal. There was a first round of flooding, then the second, this is, if I'm not wrong, the third round of flooding that has taken place. And what you see flown behind or flown away is somebody's house, somebody's connection to school, somebody's hospital, somebody's livelihood. इतना ये जो डिस्ट्रक्शन हुआ है, कितने साल पीछे कर दिया है इसने देहरादून, उत्तराखंड जैसे एरियाज को?
Well, absolutely, Sonal. Uttarakhand is facing horrors of monsoon, we can say. And in one of the episodes of horrors of monsoon, from Dharali to Tharali in Chamoli and now Dehradun, the cyclonic events of monsoon clouds. We can see how they have caused the fury in Dehradun's Sestadhara, Tapkeshwar Mahadev Temple and Maldevta. Now these were some of the areas which received heavy rainfall. Now IMD has once again said that this is not the case of cloudburst. However, people who were eyewitnesses, who were the locals, who have faced the fury, was saying that there were 3 or 4 incidents of cloudburst in Maldevta and Sestadhara area. And let me tell you that Sestadhara's Manjara and Kaligad areas suffered major impacts. However, the people were alerted earlier, so they evacuated in time. However, 3 or 4 people are still believed to be under the debris of the structure which collapsed after the cloudburst. Now, moving to Tapkeshwar, we saw that every year Tamsa Nadi takes a ravaging event and how the river collapses parts of Tapkeshwar Mahadev Temple. But this is the first time in many years that we saw that the Tamsa river completely entered the cave of Lord Shiva. For thousands of years, Lord Shiva has been, this has been an abode for Lord Shiva's, and people have been thronging to this temple and worshipping their river god. And this is the first time in monsoon in many, many years, according to the locals, that such an event has taken place. And now moving to the Maldevta as well, the road of 100 meter which connects Maldevta was completely washed out, and people have been cut from the mainstream areas, and more than 25 villages have been cut off. There are now, the numbers are now coming in, and it says that more than 10 people might have feared dead, but the authorities are yet to confirm. And once they confirm, we will also update our viewers, and we would also like to appeal our viewers that please do not go near the rivers, because this is going to be continue for the next 24 to 48 hours. It's going to be very crucial for Uttarakhand weather, and specifically near the rivulets and the riverbeds and the flood areas where the rivers have taken a larger area and have completely engulfed the cultivation and have returned to their original path. According to the elderlies, they also say that in the last 10 to 15 years, they have never seen such kind of devastation so far. Sonal.
Last 10 to 15 years, a devastation of this kind has not been seen. In the past 10 years, the rainfall of this magnitude has not been seen either. And reclaiming their original path. Now, that's interesting. Let's pick it up with our guest as well. Thanks, Ankit, for joining us. Dr. Vishwas is with us. He's a fellow in Council on Energy, Environment and Water, CEEW. Dr. Vishwas, help me understand this a little bit. Every year, we see flooding in Uttarakhand and Himachal. This time around, even just when we thought that monsoon has passed, the worst is perhaps over. What we saw in Punjab, then in Uttarakhand, Himachal, even Jammu for that matter, we just thought that it's about getting over. Then a fresh sort of burst of cloudburst, you can call it, or rainfall has caused the entire situation to get complicated again. Do we have an understanding on why 2025 has been this year of massive, massive rainfall?
Yeah, thank you, Sonal, for having me on the show. So I think this year IMD had anyways forecasted that it's going to be an above normal monsoon of say 106% long period average, which means that it was anyways going to get very heavy rainfall this year. But what is very important is to understand that there is this erraticness of rainfall that identifies within season variation. So month by month, how the variation has come in, and we can very clearly see that initially we were seeing floods in say Mumbai, parts of western coast, etc. Then eventually Punjab, and then also now Uttarakhand, etc. But also the forecast is that there is still a lot of rain to come in the later half of September, and that's likely to occur in the eastern parts of India. So I think we will need to prepare for that. But we studied the patterns of changes in Indian monsoon, and that report was published last year, where we looked at that nearly 55% tehsils, sub-districts in India, witnessed an increase in rainfall in last 10 years compared to the 30 years before that. And even when we look at this increasing pattern, what is more important is to look at is nearly 64% sub-districts experienced an increase in frequency of heavy rainfall events. These are across various states, but also what is more important is it's nearly two-thirds of India's landscape, India's sub-districts
Yeah.
that are experiencing increasing pattern in heavy rainfall days. So which is a stark, like a kind of discovery. We had seen heavy rainfall events increasing massively in Rajasthan, Gujarat, and many parts of northwestern India. So, I mean, this is the new science that is coming out of it. I think we will have to look at how do we address it.
Talking about the same report, I found another statistic which is quite fascinating. It says that 64% of Indian tehsils experienced an increase in the frequency of heavy rainfall days in the past decade during the southwest monsoon. But this pattern is prominent in tehsils or states with the highest GDPs. It goes on to say that Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat and Karnataka being one of them. So is this for the first time we are drawing a very direct correlation between higher GDP translating into higher development, translating into higher infrastructure, technical development over there, and that having higher rainfall? Is that parallel to be drawn?
To some extent, yes. I mean, of course, these are some of the states where economic growth is happening since many years, and that's where the exposure, meaning that the number of people that live in these kind of states is also higher compared to other states, and the economic activities leading to industrialization, leading to development activities, all of it comes together. But also, if we look at the fact that some of these states are located on the coasts, and especially the changing pattern that what we are seeing is western coast of India is getting wetter day by day as it comes in the last 10 years, and future projections also suggest that the western coast of India, Rajasthan, Gujarat, parts of Maharashtra, Karnataka are going to receive much more rainfall in future under various climate change scenarios as well. So that's where, I mean, it is linked with of course industrial development, etc., but also being located on the coast and on the western coast especially, where the rainfall is coming to be very high.
Right. Dr. Vishwas, a lot of criticism goes in the way of IMD to not give us very accurate results of late. We knew, you're right, that this will be an earlier monsoon. We knew that there will be a higher monsoon, but perhaps did nobody get a whiff of the fact that this is going to be such an intense monsoon, one that will sort of wipe away GDPs, wipe away development, wipe away homes and livelihoods of people for a long time to come?
I think, see, it's not definitely not to blame IMD, but the science of climate prediction is very complicated, and especially when it comes to hilly states like Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand. I think the predictions overall, it's not only about India. Overall, we see that the projections of climate data are fairly complex compared to the regions which are plains, like say Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Gujarat, etc., where there are not many hills. So in these places, the challenge is that the climate models are not able to really predict very well the near-term and long-term forecast, and that's one of the challenges. But also, if we look at the observation network, like how many places in which hilly states have the actual rainfall observation stations, which actually feed into the climate models, is also very scarce. So I think all in all, what we have to look at is India has this monsoon mission, under which there are various, say, Doppler weather radars, high precision radars, etc., are being implemented. So if we really want to enhance our climate projections and near-term forecast in the hilly states of India, I think we will have to look at how do we intensify the network of radars, weather observation radars, etc.
I have last 30 seconds, and I quickly want to get this, Dr. Vishwas, out of the way. A lot of people we speak to, even what Ankit was pointing out, a reporter on the ground, say that conventionally these are, your grandmothers at this point are saying this was the original route that seems to have been reclaimed by the rivers. Could you make sense of that for me? What does that mean?
I think, see, in Indo-Gangetic plains and also in the Himalayan foothills, there are many such places where rivers tend to take different routes and then they tend to come back also based on the landscape, etc. I think what is more important here is to look at mapping of existing risks. That is a key issue here. I think if we know that, okay, this is a route where the river used to be there and we are building a lot of infrastructure settlements there, I think
Of
the
course.
risk is very high. So this mapping of risks is very important, and especially to ensure that the critical infrastructure sectors like say power, healthcare and transportation at least does not get impacted during the time of disasters. So at least these kind of methodologies have to be brought in, and local scale mapping of risks, gram panchayat level mapping of risk, etc. We will have to ensure that it happens.
That's a good point there. Thank you, Dr. Vishwas, for joining us with all those details. We wait to see what happens next. Tail end of the monsoon, but it's stinging all over, especially in Uttarakhand, today morning at least. News updates coming in where a big confession by Pakistani Deputy Prime Minister has been made. Pakistan has admitted that India refused third-party role in ceasefire talks. Ishaq Dar has made a statement saying that ceasefire offer came through US, but India did not agree. He also went on to say that India categorically made this issue a bilateral one, saying that US President Donald Trump's claimed credit for India-Pakistan ceasefire might not be true, as India said that it will continue to be a bilateral issue and no third-party sort of interjection or third-party talks and roles has been denied now. Now, the statement coming in from Pakistan.
Categorically been stating it's a bilateral, so we don't mind bilateral. But the dialogues have to be comprehensive. It will have dialogue on terrorism, dialogue on trade, on economy, on Jammu and Kashmir, all the subjects which we both have been discussing with. So, incidentally, when the ceasefire offer came through Secretary Rubio to me on 10th of May around 17 past 8 in the morning, I was told that there would be very soon dialogue between you and India at an independent place. When we met 25th of July, bilateral meeting myself with Secretary Rubio in Washington, I asked him what happened to the dialogue. Says India says that it is a bilateral issue. We don't. So we are not begging for anything. If any country wants dialogue, we are happy. We are welcome. We are a peace-loving country. We believe that dialogue is the way forward. But obviously, it takes two to tango. So unless India wishes to have dialogue.
To third-party involvement?
Well, we don't mind, but India has categorically been stating it's a bilateral, so we don't mind bilateral. But the dialogues have to be comprehensive. It will have dialogue on terrorism, dialogue on trade, on economy, on Jammu and Kashmir, all the subjects which we both have been discussing with. So, incidentally, when the ceasefire offer came through Secretary Rubio to me on 10th of May around 17 past 8 in the morning, I was told that there would be very soon dialogue between you and India at an independent place. When we met 25th of July, bilateral meeting myself with Secretary Rubio in Washington, I asked him what happened to the dialogue. Says India says that it is a bilateral issue. We don't. So we are not begging for anything. If any country wants dialogue, we are happy. We are welcome. We are a peace-loving country. We believe that dialogue is the way forward. But obviously, it takes two to tango. So unless India wishes to have dialogue.
To third-party involvement?
Well, we don't mind, but India has categorically been stating it's a bilateral, so we don't mind bilateral. But the dialogues have to be comprehensive.
All right, let's cut across to my colleague Shivani Sharma joining us live from Delhi now. Shivani, this is for the first time that we've got a statement from the Pakistani side saying very clearly that there was no role played by the US or the President Donald Trump there in the bilaterals between India and Pakistan.
See, Sonal, we need to understand one thing, that India has always rejected any third-party interference when it comes to Kashmir issue. And what the foreign minister of Pakistan was mentioning right now, that he's asking, he seeks a dialogue, a comprehensive one that also includes Kashmir issue. So there's no question of a dialogue or a debate on Kashmir issue. That's what India has been very clear about. India and the Prime Minister, the Defense Minister, and several top officials of the Indian Armed Forces, they told categorically that how the ceasefire understanding was met. It was the action against terror camps, the action against Pakistani Air Force, the action against Pakistan that brought them onto knees. And just in 4 days, they were asking and they were pleading for a ceasefire understanding. So whatever Pakistan or Pakistan's minister say, it's actually laughable. I was listening to him and he was saying Pakistan is a peace-loving country. You and me and all Indians, we all know. And even on the global forum, people know how peace-loving Pakistan is. So peace and Pakistan are poles apart. Whatever is being said is just another lie and a propaganda by Pakistan.
All right, Gaurav Sawant also joins us for the very latest on this. Gaurav, make sense of these statements, please. What does this mean? We understand that Pakistan and US are also going to get into a conversation very soon. But at this point, what is this? Is this a goof up by Pakistan? They didn't want this bit to come out? Or what exactly are they trying to play here with making these statements?
So this is a statement which is a fact, and this does embarrass US President Donald Trump, because India had insisted there is no third-party mediation when it comes to Jammu and Kashmir. Whether it's Donald Trump in the United States of America or Xi Jinping in China, several world leaders have tried to intervene and said that they're happy to mediate, or they're willing to mediate, or they want to mediate. And India has categorically said, especially after 1971 war and the Simla agreement, that Jammu and Kashmir is a bilateral issue and it will be decided, between India and Pakistan. That's point one. There's also a caveat that in a terror-free environment, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made very clear, any dialogue with Pakistan can only be in a terror-free environment, and for that Pakistan has to stop terror. So this is Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister. He's conceding that Pakistan had approached the United States of America. He'd had a conversation with Marco Rubio. He wanted America to intervene, but Marco Rubio came back to him and told him India doesn't want any third-party mediation. India wants it to be bilateral. So now Pakistan is saying, we are okay with bilateral, but it has to be comprehensive. And India is very clear. Pakistan has to stop terror first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has repeatedly said, "Goli bari ke beech बातचीत सुनाई नहीं देती." So Pakistan has to take action against India-centric terror for dialogue, but it's a major shot in the arm for India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the floor of the House had said there was no third-party intervention, despite Donald Trump 30 times, 40 times, 50 times. You and I have lost count the number of times he said that he got that ceasefire. The fact remains, America had no role to play, at least in talking to India. India had said it has to be bilateral.
Got it. But Gaurav, this is perhaps for the first time India and Pakistan are actually saying the same thing. This is perhaps for the first time that we both agree on something that actually happened. Just help us understand, what does US or perhaps Donald Trump even gain by making claims like these, especially in the environment that we are in right now, in middle of trade wars, in middle of war over oil. I mean, all of this going on. What does this mean?
So Donald Trump wants a Nobel Prize. He's desperate for a Nobel Prize, and he tried everything under the sun to get one. He said, before I get into the White House, I'll get Russia and Ukraine to stop fighting. He's failed in that. He thought India-Pakistan is low-hanging fruit. I was reporting from G7 summit in Caracas in Canada. That's the time that Donald Trump made that phone call to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and said, why don't you stop by and let's meet at the White House. Now, that's the time that Asim Munir was already there. Donald Trump was looking for a photo op that he got the Indian Prime Minister and the Pakistani Army Chief to shake hands. India was wiser, and India said, no, there's already an engagement in another country. The Prime Minister has to go there, meet the head of state before he comes back home. So he didn't go to America, and that's what got Donald Trump very angry. And he thought that, his Nobel Prize is slipping away. No peace between Russia, Ukraine, no peace between Israel, Iran and Hamas. And then between India and Pakistan, India has made it very clear he had no role to play. A military dictator who virtually usurped power in Pakistan, elevated himself to the rank of a field marshal despite losing war, nominated him for a Nobel Prize. And Donald Trump, thought that if India also nominates me for a Nobel Prize, he may get one. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi keeps India first. and said, no, you had no role to play, which is now being borne out even from the conversation that happened between Ghulam Ishaq Dar, the Deputy Prime Minister of Pakistan, with the television network.
Right. Gaurav, let's listen into that bite one more time. But I dare say that the timing of this coming out could not be worse, as India and US are in middle of a negotiation as we speak in the national capital. And this news has just come in. Listen in to that statement one more time.
Party involvement?
Well, we don't mind, but India has categorically been stating it's bilateral, so we don't mind bilateral. But the dialogues have to be comprehensive. It will have dialogue on terrorism, dialogue on trade, on economy, on Jammu and Kashmir, all the subjects which we both have been discussing with. So, incidentally, when the ceasefire offer came through, Secretary Rubio to me on 10th of May around 17 past 8 in the morning, I was told that there would be very soon dialogue between you and India at an independent place. When we met 25th of July, bilateral meeting, myself with Secretary Rubio in Washington, I asked him what happened to the dialogue. Says India says that it is a bilateral issue. We don't. So we are not begging for anything. If any country wants dialogue, we are happy. We are welcome. We are a peace-loving country. We believe that dialogue is the way forward. But obviously, it takes two to tango. So unless India wishes to have dialogue.
Gaurav, now listening to those statements one more time, one can't, help but notice a couple of things that are being said here. One, that Pakistan is a peace-loving country. Second, that it takes two to tango. Third, he's saying that we wanted dialogue. We are happy to talk to anyone. And they actually had received that offer from the US. He's saying they did not approach the US. The US secretary then called him up and said that let's do this conversation, to which Pakistan agreed. But very clearly, when that same phone call came to India, we said, hold on, this is our issue and we will sort it out.
Sonal, you're absolutely right. So just look at two things here which are very, very significant. One, India did not seek any ceasefire or third-party mediation. America sought to intervene. In fact, conversations, if you recall, as both External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have repeatedly said, conversations were happening at multiple levels. Various world leaders were in touch with India and with Pakistan, whether it's Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, or the United States of America. India did not seek it. Pakistan was seeking some way to de-escalate, because by the 10th morning, Pakistan was in trouble. By 10th morning, Pakistan, a nuclear weapon state, Sonal, was down on its knees because 11 of their air bases, 9 terrorist training camps and launch pads and 6 radar stations had been decimated, and India was going to launch a bigger wave of attack had Pakistan not sought that ceasefire. So when America and when J.D. Vance spoke to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when Marco Rubio spoke to External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar, India just made one point. If they want ceasefire, they have to contact us. It has to be their DGMO to our DGMO. They seek ceasefire. We fire the last round. That's exactly what happened. India fired the last round on the 10th, got those 11 air bases down. Pakistan sought ceasefire, and that's where the temporary pause in Operation Sindoor happened. No US role in that ceasefire, a point that India has repeatedly made. And Ishaq Dar now confirms that it couldn't have come for a worse time for Donald Trump. It couldn't have come at a better time for India, because this is the time when the next round of dialogue is currently happening in Delhi. The trade talks. The US team is here in India, and India, as always, stands tall, firm on trade, firm on national security. That's the message that India has been able to convey, despite all the questions that were raised in multiple fora.
Right. Gaurav, this is also perhaps not the first time that a minister in Pakistan has gone ahead to sort of speak the truth plainly, only to embarrass themselves, of course, but speak the truth plainly. Earlier on, you'll remember that the statements were made about how Pakistan has been doing the dirty job of USA for a while. Now statements like these. Every time you see a Pakistani minister speak with a foreign media, you see a lot of truth being spilled out, but none of it somehow gets recognized by the US. Would that be fair to understand at this point?
So there are two things here. You're absolutely right. the United States has actually used Pakistan and used Pakistan very extensively. It's almost like a use and throw mechanism for them. When they wanted to use Pakistan against the Soviets in Afghanistan, they used Pakistan. When they wanted a major inroad into this South Asian region and to keep an eye on China, that was soon after independence. So that's where Pakistan became a frontline ally for the United States of America. And even now, all that Donald Trump is trying to do is use Pakistan to checkmate India. And so far, he hasn't succeeded. That's because India is standing firm. Now, on the points that Pakistan is making, that we fight your dirty wars, something that the defense minister, Khwaja Asif, said to Sky News in that interview post-op Sindoor, it's actually a fact. Pakistan has done all the dirty work. But it's also gotten away with murder and terror because of that dirty work that it did. And India hasn't so emphatically made its point globally like it did when you let the BrahMos do all the talking. You see, nobody respects the meek and the weak. When your BrahMos talk, the world listens.
Right. Gaurav, just hold on for a minute. We've also now pulled out the previous comments of the Prime Minister Modi, when he had confirmed that there was no foreign hand at all. Listen in to what the Prime Minister had said then.
दुनिया के किसी भी नेता ने भारत के ऑपरेशन रोकने के लिए नहीं कहा। दुनिया के किसी भी नेता ने भारत के ऑपरेशन रोकने के लिए नहीं कहा।
So what's the bottom line here? India has been saying repeatedly that there was no foreign hand. Now, Pakistan has also come out to say that actually any mediation was denied by India, saying that it is a bilateral issue. Only India and Pakistan will sort it out. In all of this, it has been a huge embarrassing moment for US. What exactly is Donald Trump thinking and claiming? Well, that's a story that'll take a while to be sorted out. For the moment, let's take a quick break. Back in a moment.
Moto G96